let me start by suggesting that I'm not sure what's true. Um, because I have some friends who are sure what's true, and they're really smart, and and they don't seem to agree with each other. And if one of them is right, the other would be wrong. And yet they both believe that they're right. And they both believe that what they think is true. So I would ask you to just open to the possibility that maybe it's not true. I mean, did you ever think something was true and then later find out it wasn't true? If so, what were you thinking? You must have been thinking that it was true. Um, so I would suggest that the the thing that I guess you would call it a belief, but a belief really isn't a belief in my world because belief would be like a thing, like a noun, like a car or a wagon. But can you see the difference? Could you hold a wagon in your hand? No, it's too big. Well, I mean, if it was small enough, could you hold the wagon in your hand? Yeah. What about a belief? Could you hold it in your hand? What's the difference then between a wagon and a belief? Well, a wagon is an object, don't you think? A pencil sharpener. These are things. We think of them as things. I'm not even sure they're things, but I'm pretty sure that a belief isn't a thing. So if a belief isn't a thing, if it's not a noun, might it be something you're doing? So maybe you know somebody who believes this, and then he believes that and not this. Well, was the belief like a thing that was stuck in him? Or was the belief like a thing he was doing? So if we could think of it as if we could think of a belief as a way of thinking, then thinking must be something people are doing. Although our language, would say things like, well, I have a thought. Um, and the problem is that then the way we start experiencing the world is um, sort of filtered through our language. Do um, any of you speak a second or third language? So, do you speak that language fluently, Mike?
Pretty much, pretty much. I speak Spanish pretty well.
Okay, so think about something somebody did. Now, think of the same. Did you do that? Think of something somebody did. Okay, now think about the same thing, but think about it in a different language. And is it exactly the same? It's not exactly the same. So with a different language, you're kind of living in a different world. I wonder which one is the real world. Um, None of them. Cats and bats and stuff like that. Buffaloes live in the real world, I think. Um, and we're seeing things through language. And so one of the things we're seeing is we think we're seeing the truth. But let's say you're taking a walk with this boy. He's about 8 years old, and he really loves to take walks with you and learn things from you. And you're taking a walk, and you come across this great big boulder, a big, huge thing laying there. And you say to this boy, you say, "Hey, let's see what we can figure out about this boulder. What do you think about it? Tell me everything you know about it." And he says, "It's big, it's heavy, it's solid, it's still." Well, I think from different perspectives, you could shift most of those, don't you think? Because isn't big compared to something else? So if you're showing him that rock and then you're showing him the moon, he might say, "Oh, this is pretty small." And let's look at still for a moment, because he's pretty sure it's still. And with that, he loves it when you teach him things. So you pick up your basketball and you take the basketball and you draw a little circle about the size of a dime, a little coin, on the basketball, and say to him, "Let's say that is the rock, and it's sitting on this basketball." And he says, "Okay, so you mean like the ball? If the dot is a rock, then the ball would be the earth." And you say, "Yeah." So watch the dot and make sure that it's still. And then you begin to spin the ball. And he goes, "Uh-oh." And then you not only are spinning the ball, but you start walking around him while you're spinning the ball. So you're spinning the ball and walking around him. And he says, "I get it. That's like the earth revolving around the sun." And you say to him, "Creating what?" And he says, "Seasons, brings summer, winter, fall." And then you go, "Well, what about that?" And he says, "Night and day." And you say, "So tell me about the rock." And he looks over at the same rock that was still a few moments ago. And he says, "Boy, that thing's rocking and rolling, isn't it? It's moving all over the place." So he had a way of thinking, which we could call a belief, and then you caused a different way of thinking, which is another belief. And then a whole lot of people are going to say, "Yeah, because the second way was true and the first one wasn't true." But a lot of the stuff people are thinking about is not within my ability to determine whether it's true. I start reading into some of these guys who are publishing some pretty amazing stuff about physics. And you know what I find out about these scientists? Really brilliant people. I mean, they're thinking things I wouldn't even know how to begin to pronounce, much less think. And 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 they're brilliant. And you know what? They disagree with each other. And each of them thinks that what they're thinking is true, but they disagree with each other. And then if you watch it historically, you'll find that not only do these people disagree with each other, but many of them also disagree with themselves at an earlier time.